Right, good morning everyone. Welcome to this week's video. So we're both out in the woods today. I've got my partner in crime with me today. We're just going to be taking a look at how to make a continuous ridgeline for tarp camping or hammock camping. We just found some fat wood on the way through, so we're just going to chop this up and we'll see you when we get to camp. Right then, so here we are in the birch marsh. So we're just going to have a look at a continuous ridgeline today. So I've got everything I need in the bag. First thing I need to do is just have a go at getting some birch water. It's that time of the year, spring's in the way. I'm just going to have a go at harvesting some birch water so we can get some coffee on the go. So I'm just going to get the Eagle kettle out and we'll have a go see whether we can find some birch water. If you want to know how to tap birch, what I'll do is just in the top there, just stick another link to another video that I've done. That will give you the idea on how to do it and the time of year to do it. Right then, so let's take a look at what we need for this continuous ridgeline. So the continuous ridgeline that I'm going to make is made out of this 1.8mm Dyneema. This has a breaking strain of 600 pounds, so you could use this for continuous ridgeline, or you could use it for whoopee slings off the side of your hammock as well. So what is a continuous ridgeline? So a continuous ridgeline is literally ran between two trees, and then it runs through the center of your tie-outs on your tarp there, so it gives you the ability to run a tarp between two trees. So this is absolutely perfect for hammock camping, or if you want to ground dwell, you can stick a tarp between two trees like that as well. So the things that you're going to need for this is obviously the Dyneema. You're going to need a couple of soft shackles, because this rig that we're actually making today is a really lightweight rig, so we're not using any carabiners or anything. We're using the Dyneema as the soft shackles here. These two I've made previously. I think what we'll do is we'll just take a look at how I put these together. Right, so let's have a look at what we need to make a soft shackle. Okay, so to make a soft shackle, so what we need is some 2mm Dyneema, a knife, a chopping board, a fid. Now I haven't got a fid here, I'm just using a biro, and a little bit of sellotape. So the first thing that we're going to do is measure about 60 centimeters of this Dyneema, and then the next thing is we're going to bring the two ends together, and then from the loop here we're going to measure 15 centimeters, and then with a piece of sellotape we're just going to mark where that 15 centimeters is, and then from the edge of this tape on the board there up to 15, if we just push the Dyneema together, that's going to be where we start feeding the Dyneema through. So with this end here we need to attach this to the fid. Now like I said before, I haven't got a fid small enough for this Dyneema, so what I've got here is an old biro tube, and I'm just going to feed the tip of the Dyneema into that biro tube. It doesn't go all the way, so I'm just going to secure it with a bit of sellotape. So here we go. So we've bulged out the Dyneema where we're going to thread the fid through. So just between the thread I'm going to start feeding the biro tube through, making sure that it's in the middle of all of the threads, and then that will start to feed through. There we go. And then I'm just pushing that up the biro feeding it through. You still need to keep it quite loose, because if not it'll bite onto the fid. I'm feeding it up and pushing down. And I'm feeding this all the way down the dyneema until that's going to come out right by the sellotape. So we're nearly there. And then I'm just going to feed that through. Careful not to get stuck on any of the threads. And then that's coming out here. There we go. And keeping that loose, I'm just going to feed that through. You need to keep this fairly loose at this top, because if not it's going to get caught and it's going to pull out. And then once that's all out, we can just pull that through. And then what I generally tend to do is just through the loop, just put the fid, pull that tight, and then just extend all of that. So that's going to be our soft shackle. So then the only other thing that we need to do is, through the line that we have just passed that through, is we just need to pass it through one more time, just to tighten it all off. So just by squeezing it all together, make it all loose, we're just going to pass through there. And then on the end here, with these two ends here, we're just going to make a diamond knot. So the first thing we're going to do to make the diamond knot is pass one leg over the other leg, and then we're then going to loop this leg and pass that over the first leg, and then it's this hole in the middle that we're going to be used to work. Then what we're going to do is take this leg here, pass it under the other leg, and then through the first hole here and out through the other hole here. Now the next thing we're going to do now is, if you put one finger in the hole and then just holding on to the sides, just start to pull the knot tight. You might need to feed some pieces around until you start to work it all tight. This isn't the finished knot, but we're starting it off. So what this is doing is, this is tightening up the knot and just preparing for the second part of the knot. Right, so once we've got the knot like so, what we're going to do now is, with this leg here, I'm going to pass this around the bottom leg, and I'm now going to feed this up through the center, and then the same with the other leg. Feed that round and then feed it up through the middle. And now what we need to do is just work all of the ends all the way through to get them tight. So what I'm doing now is just squashing down the knot, giving it a wiggle, and then like here there's a little loop, so I'm just going to follow that round, see where that's going, and then we'll just give that, and then we'll just tighten that up just by rolling the knot and pulling the leading legs, and there we have it. That's our diamond knot. So the next step is just to cut off those two ends, and there we have it. So now all we need to do is just pull open the shackle, feed the knot through the shackle, and then just tighten up. And there we have it. Soft shackle to be used. Right, so there we have it. That's a soft shackle. Once you get the hang of these things, they're pretty easy to make. The first time, it's highly possible that you're going to screw up the diamond knot. Right, so there we go. So that's how we make the soft shackles. So we've got one large one here that we're going to utilise as a prusik loop, and then we've got a small soft shackle as well. So the tarp that I'm going to rig today is a 3-meter tarp. This is a DD Hammock's 3-meter tarp. So the way that I'm going to make this continuous loop is I'm going to make 3 meters each side of the tarp, and then obviously the length of that. So those that are dyslexic just like me, that makes it about 9 meters if I work it out properly. So roughly about 9 meters. You can push it to 10, and then you've literally got a bit more space if the trees are a little bit further apart. So what I'm going to do now is just measure out 10 meters of Dyneema, and then we're going to cut this down. So we'll cut that there. And then the first knot that we're going to make on this end here is we're just going to do a loop with a figure of 8, and that's going to be the first place where the small soft shackle is going to be attached. You could, if you want to, actually splice a loop in there, but just for the ease I'm just making a small figure of 8 there. And then just so I don't lose the small soft shackle, I'm just going to put that onto that loop that we've made on the end of there. So the next thing we have to do is come right up the other end. Now all I'm going to do here is just tie a figure of 8 knot, just so that we don't lose, the thread doesn't come undone on the Dyneema. This is where we're going to tie the prusik. So what I've done previously is I've actually just ran a prusik straight onto here and then had a soft shackle onto there, but what we've done now is we're basically utilising this massive soft shackle as a prusik. So I'm literally just going to fold that through here, just holding that here, and then I'm going to pass it through itself 4 times. That's 3, and then finally, and then we're just going to draw it tight and then just work it all the way through so it becomes tight on itself, and this is going to bite onto itself. And there we go. I need to tighten that up a bit more, but that is the prusik soft shackle. So we'll get the tarp out now, and then we'll run this through the tarp, and I'll show you how it's rigged. So I'm just going to feed this through the 3 main loops on the tarp, and then we'll get this strung between these 2 trees, and I'll show you just exactly how the prusik knot's going to be working. So this side here, so we've got the small shackle here. I'm literally just going to run this around this tree just above head height at the moment, and this soft shackle is then going to come back and loop onto the line and onto the actual webbing strap of the tarp. So we're going to pass this soft shackle, so the continuous ridgeline goes through the soft shackle's going through the webbing, and then through the loop back onto the diamond knot, and then we'll just pull that taut. So that's one side ready to be strung. Right, so as we made this with quite a bit of line on it, just wind this around your hands for a bit, because if not it'll get caught as you're trying to run it around the trees, because there's quite a good bit of length on this as well. These trees are quite close together, but if you need to run this between trees that are a bit further apart, you'll get all of this snarled up around the tree. So then this is literally coming around the tree, and then we're unwinding, and now's when we need our prusik. So we'll go back to the prusik. And now all we're going to do is literally just move that prusik along the ridge line until we get the ridge line fairly taut, and then just bring your tarp webbing across, and the same as before, we're going to loop the soft shackle around the continuous ridge line and then through the webbing on the tarp, and then we'll just hook those together like so. Make sure that the loop is brought taut as well. So that's how we are. So now the only thing we need to do is just tighten up the prusik by moving this along. So this prusik knot here is not been tightened up, so I need to just tighten this up because we've only just stuck this on the line. So all I'm doing is just giving it a wiggle, just making sure the ends are biting, and then what you can do is just pull that taut, and then that's going to bite on itself, and then you've got your continuous ridge line. So if you look at the corner of my tarp here, I've got this 4mm bungee, And then we've just got these little tiny stainless steel tarp worms here with a hole in the center that your guy line runs through, and then you half hitch around once you've drawn it tight. I'll show you how these go now. Like so. And then this is just coming out just at a right angle. Right then, there we go. So there we go, that's a continuous ridgeline using 1.8mm Dyneema. I'll stick the link for the Dyneema in the description below. I'll also put another video together separately of the soft shackle and the large prusik loop shackle type thingy-ma-what's-it as well, and I'll stick that in the description below. So there we go, so that's a really lightweight option for a continuous ridgeline. If you're doing a really light, I'm really getting put off by trying to talk to the camera and looking at his arse hanging out of the back of his trousers there.
How rude.
Right, so there we go. So that's a really lightweight option for a continuous ridgeline here. If you're dropping down your weight, you want to bring it down so you go super lightweight. You're losing any carabiners. You're just literally using the Dyneema that you're using in the center line there as well. Right then, I'm going to just check out that kettle there to see whether we've got any birch water inside of there. We're going to get the Horizon stove out, get that on the go, and get some breakfast running. Hey, leave my stick. There we go, 2 little sausages. Quite level. The great thing about the Horizon stove is you can pick that up and move it because of the cage around the outside. Right, time for the bacon. Right, so it's turned out pretty nice now actually. A few spots of rain earlier on, but it's absolutely beautiful down here today. So spring is in the air. As soon as you know that the birch water's running, you know that that's spring. So we are literally just going to have a chill out day with a load of food and just chill out before going back to bloody work tomorrow. There's enough there just for a couple of small cookses. Right, so that's me pretty much done for today. Thanks for watching today's video. So this is a how-to on making a continuous ridgeline for use in hammock camping, or as we've done today, just in ground dwelling. Please, if you want to follow the instructions, everything's in the description below. I'll stick the link to the other video I'm going to make on how to do the soft shackles for the continuous Ridgeline, and I'll also stick a link to the Dyneema that I purchased off Amazon. So thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next week out on the next one.